Samai, why does the IRS need to decide what to do next before acting? Sam, that's a great question, Samai. You see, good decisions don't happen by accident. They need careful thought. Just like when you're solving a math problem, you need to look at all the steps before choosing the right answer. The IRS does the same thing. Leighton, the IRS looks at the full picture before choosing the next step. They don't just make quick decisions based on one thing. They need to understand everything before taking action. Sam, exactly. This way, the system tries to stay fair to everyone. The IRS doesn't just look at numbers. They look at your whole situation. That's how they make the best decision for you and your future. Leighton, the first thing the IRS looks at is income. Samai, so, like paychecks? Leighton, yes, exactly. Paychecks are a big part of it, but it also includes things like business income, retirement payments, or other money that's coming in. The IRS needs to understand where the money is coming from. Sam, they also look at whether the income is steady or changing. Is it a regular paycheck, or is it money that fluctuates from month to month? The IRS wants to know if someone has a predictable source of income or if it varies. Samai, so they know what someone can handle? Sam, exactly. If someone's income is steady, it's easier for the IRS to figure out how much they can pay. But if it's changing, they might need to look at other factors to understand the person's situation better. Lola. Next, the IRS looks at expenses. Samai, like food and housing? Lola. Yes, exactly. They look at things like food, housing, transportation, medical needs, and childcare. These are all necessary expenses that people have to pay to live. Sam, the IRS understands that people have to pay for these basic needs first before they can pay their taxes. This helps them decide what someone can realistically afford to pay based on what they're already spending. Leighton, it's not just about what's coming in, it's also about what's going out. The IRS looks at everything that's essential for someone to live and work. That way, they can be fair when it comes to collecting taxes. Leighton, the IRS also looks at assets. Samai, what are assets? Leighton, assets are things someone owns, like money in the bank, cars, houses, or even business tools. Sam, but owning something doesn't always mean it can be sold. Lola, exactly. Some things are needed to live or work. For example, a car might be needed to get to work, or a home might be essential for living. These things can't just be sold to pay taxes. Sam, so the IRS has to figure out if someone's assets can be used to pay, or if they're needed for daily life. This helps them understand whether someone can pay taxes right now, or if they need time to pay. Samai, why does the IRS care about what happened before? Sam, great question, Samai. The IRS looks at the past because patterns tell a story. If someone has had trouble paying taxes before, the IRS might think that they need more time or a different plan. Leighton, they ask questions like, was this a one-time problem or something that keeps happening? Lola, that helps the IRS decide how flexible to be. If someone has always paid their taxes on time but had a problem one year, they might be able to work out a solution. But if there's a history of problems, the IRS might take a different approach. Sam, the IRS isn't just looking for mistakes. They're looking for patterns in a person's tax history. This helps them decide what's the best way to help. Sam, after looking at income and expenses, the IRS asks one big question. Is there anything left to pay taxes? Samai, like checking if the cup is empty? Sam, exactly. You can't pour from an empty cup. The IRS wants to know if there's enough money left after paying for essentials to pay taxes. If there's no money left, they know the person can't pay. Lola. And that's why they also look at things like assets and past history. If someone has some money saved up, they might be able to pay over time. But if they have nothing, the IRS understands that and can adjust the plan. Lola. The IRS also checks what people are doing right now. Samai. Like filing new tax returns? Lola. Yes, filing current tax returns is important. But the IRS also wants to know if people are following through on their promises and handling things correctly now. Sam. Fixing the past only works if today is handled correctly. If someone isn't following the rules right now, the IRS might not be as flexible in the future. Samai. So, doing the right things now builds trust? Sam. Exactly. When people do the right thing today, it helps them build trust with the IRS, making it easier to find a solution. Leighton. Some situations need faster action than others. Samai. Why? Leighton. Because waiting too long can make things worse. If the IRS waits too long to act, the problem might grow bigger, and it could be harder to fix later. Sam. The IRS decides how urgent a case is based on the situation. Some cases need quick action to prevent bigger problems, while others might need more time to work through. Lola. One last thing matters a lot: communication. Samai. Just talking? Lola. Yes, it's that simple. Responding, following through, and keeping promises are all important. Communication keeps the lines open for finding solutions. Sam. When people talk and cooperate, it helps the IRS understand their situation better. This makes it easier to work out a plan that works for everyone. Sam. When the IRS decides what to do next, it looks at real life, not just numbers. It's about understanding the whole picture and making a decision that's fair. Samai. So understanding the process helps people feel less scared? Sam. Exactly. Knowledge changes everything. Good decisions start with understanding, and that's what helps everyone, whether it's the IRS or you, make the best choices.